again. Yeah, baby. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2. Let's not fuck it up like yesterday. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I love how that drops in. Yeah. Bye. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Mark's Conte reporting. Hey, man. What's up, man? Whoa, what a debate. Whoa, holy smokes. You saw that debate, man? That shit was crazy, man. What the fuck is going on? Holy shit, there's a helicopter flying over my house. You hear that? You hear that? Whoa, that shit was close, man. I live right by the Verrazano Bridge, and there's like sometimes early in the morning you hear helicopters flying so close you could read what type of helicopter it is right on the side of the panel. You can literally look up and you can tell it's either military or it's NYPD or something. But anyway, so wow, the master debate last night. Did it help the country? Did it help? Did it hurt the country? Did it help us? Did it help you? Did it help the politicians? Did you watch it? Wow, how it was combative. It was argumentative, and who won? Was there a winner? Did one of the wrestlers win, or was it a draw, or did the politicians win again and the people lose as always? We'll find out. So today I want to do. I usually do an analysis. I guess I watched it and I could give you my gut feeling. I want to use this video to look at all of the other opinions out there. That's a cool idea, right? We'll look. I lined up a bunch of the Young Jerks and H.A. Goodman and the Satan Kid and Dice. What's his fucking name? Dice, that crazy guy, Dice. And we'll look at all of the other opinions and some mainstream media opinion of what the hell happened last night, because it was, in many respects, a total train wreck, but also there was total brilliance in the way Trump, and that's arguable if it's true. Trump was able to control the conversation. Whoever controls the conversation wins. That's how it works. And Trump, not only did he totally put Joe Biden on his heels, but he also controlled the moderator. At one point he was actually insulting the moderator. He said, "Why don't we debate instead of? I thought I was here to debate Biden. Now I'm debating you." So that kind of tactic controls the narrative. Did it work? Does it work? It worked. It worked in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, and it worked against Trump versus Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. So how do we determine if it worked or not? How do we determine if the people received it? Now, I tried to find out quickly how many people watched. How many people watched out there? Right now, when I was watching it, I watched it on Fox, the Fox stream, and I saw at one point 900,000 people watching a single stream, and I flipped over to ABC and I had about 600,000, and vice versa. So there was an estimated 70 or 80 million people watching. I can't confirm it because I can't find a single fucking number that tells me how many people were watching. But in 2016, when Hillary Clinton and Trump first faced off, that got 80 million people. So it's safe to say that a lot of fucking people watched. Right? That's what we know for sure, right? A lot of people watched. 80 million people watched. Is it all the United States? Is it all America? Did it change anything? Did it change anyone's opinion? Did it turn a Trump supporter into a Biden supporter? Think about that. Did anybody who's the Trump tried and true, did they watch that debate and flip to Biden? It's laughable, right? Did anybody who was a Biden fan look at Biden and flip to Trump? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there is. I've seen crazier things. It's really hard to say. Here's the other thing. Biden did fairly well in terms of he didn't have a total mental breakdown, which was expected. We expected Joe Biden to totally fucking crumble, senile. That's what we thought, but it didn't happen. It never came. He stumbled a couple of times. When he lies, here's the thing. Here's the tell with Joe Biden. When Joe Biden is lying, he stutters. He goes like this, and his brain freezes out because he's lying. He goes, I'm from Scranton, right? And he fries, right? That's how you know. That's how you know Joe Biden is lying. And Trump is just fucking masterful the way he's heard while you're trying to get out a sentence, and Trump is just fucking riddling you with shit. So that's how the whole night went. As far as policy for the people, well, there was none, right? But that's politics, right? This is not in any way really about leading the American people towards sovereignty or stopping the wars or giving people health care. It's not about that. It's a fucking game. It's a billionaire game. One guy, a talk show guy who allegedly paid no tax or made no money to pay tax on, allegedly, is in control, is the talking head for a massive oligarchy in our country. And some other jackoff wants to challenge him not to give sovereignty back to the people, but to give sovereignty to his version, his brand of oligarchs, the people that pay him for their favors. So the people, I would say, Trump wins, the people lose, Biden lost to some degree. Right? That's what I'll say. So before we dive in, kindly become a Patreon. Someone in the chat also said, do you think that Biden was wearing an earpiece? Somebody very early said that. I would say, here's my take on that, right? I think that Biden is definitely being signaled, but it's much more sophisticated than that, right? There's so many ways of signaling. For example, right, when you go into a trading floor, for example, in Goldman Sachs, and even if you stood right behind that trader and you looked at his screens, you would not know what the fuck he's looking at or what the hell is going on because it's color-coded. There's wave sequences. There's number digits flying. There's all kinds of shit going on that screen that you, the uneducated eye, doesn't know. So I would assume that Biden is looking at some sort of device. I don't know if you're allowed to have a device. Are you allowed to drop a device on the table? I don't know. I have no idea. But I would imagine that somebody somewhere in that audience is signaling Biden. Yes, go forward. No. Are they actually feeding him the words like a teleprompter? I mean, without somebody seeing it, that would be impossible. But the idea that or it could be a vibration. He could be working on almost like a Morse code, something under his coat where he goes bam 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 bam, or he says something and he gets dot dot dot, dots and dashes. Very very possible. As far as an earpiece, no, you would see it. Well, or it's sophisticated. Could be something just very, very light on your skin, right? This is the fucking, this guy was the vice president for 8 years. He knows all about this crazy CIA shit. So the idea that they were was Trump being signaled? No, he doesn't have to. Trump doesn't need that shit. So here we are. Kindly become a Patreon of this channel if you haven't done so already at marcusconte.com. Here's all the deleted videos from YouTube. And as far as YouTube, I was told within 24, 48 hours, YouTube would lift the streaming ban on this channel, on me, on the other channel, within 48 hours. And that has not happened yet, but we're waiting. We'll wait. I got a response from the alleged people, Rupli, that said that I violated their copyright. They lifted that and told YouTube to lift it. So it's in lift, whatever that means. So we're here and we're not going anywhere. But it is suspicious that right before the presidential shit starts, YouTube is out there hatcheting people like me for speaking truth to power. I think that's what I'm doing. I don't know sometimes. But anyway, become a Patreon, $2, $1, 50 cents, $100, whatever you got. I'll take it. And become a one-time contributor. As I said, not going away. Not going away at all. We're here. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Don't be a dick in the chat. I think the dickery has gone doc. Dickery doc. This chick was sucking my... What's up, everybody? Good morning. Emily. I don't have a foul mouth, by the way. I really don't. I don't have any... this is... In comedy, you're allowed to do this. I'm a comedian, if you haven't figured it out yet. I'm no fucking political analyst. You said that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've always said... I'm just a dick joke guy. I was in a dick joke band. I play guitar. I get attacked by LARPers for being a fucking a communist or a socialist or a guy who's conspiring to insult them and all this crazy nonsense. Right? So I know who I am. Right? It's other people define what you do. Right? Let other people decide what it is you do. I'm a guy who sits here and sings Hare Krishna to myself. Right? That's what I do, man. Let's get in there. Let's get in. This'll make you feel better. All right, I digress. So kindly become that Patreon, man, because you are what makes it happen. Right? If you don't like me, then don't give. Right? Get the fuck out of here. Right? Don't let the door hit you in the ass. So good morning, everybody. We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We're letting some people get in here. Good morning, world. Good morning, world, and thank you. We're going to talk about this, as I said before. I have an opinion, but I'm going to let others have an opinion today. I'm going to open up the floor to the other fine commentators out on YouTube and in the world in general. And we're going to listen to them. I'm sure everybody has watched the debate. We're not going to rewatch it. We'll watch some highlights, and we'll talk about it. Is it helpful? Was it good for the country? I mean, that's the big question, right? The big question is, these guys are trying to run our nation. One of them is already doing it. Is he the guy who should be continuing to do it, or should we pass it to the other guy so that our lives become better? Not their fucking politic game, their jostling for power. Who gives a shit who gets the power? All we want is point some of that power at us. Give us some shit that we need. Because that's what elections are about. That's what they should be about. They shouldn't be, shit shows, or jostling matches. But that's what we got. That's what we saw last night. We saw a lot of vibrato, a lot of insults. One, Joe Biden told the president of the United States to shut up, you clown. He called him a clown. All that stuff, right? And Trump like jumping down his throat saying, What did your son do with $3.5 million, Joe? What did he do with the 300? Why did the fucking mayor in Moscow? Why did she give Biden $3.5 million? All of which is pretty much proven, right? That money flowed and Biden denied it. Right? All that shit, right? Do we really want to hear about that? Or did we want a substantive? Did we want a substantive, political, policy-oriented debate? That's what I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see, there was nothing on healthcare, very little. He skimmed over it. It was more of an argument about Obamacare. So let's dive in. So, first let's look at, I had mentioned that I watched this, I watched Chunk the Groundhog. Let's check him out. This guy's awesome. He's very, very meditative, by the way. He's not a rat. I love fucking Chunk, man. Isn't this awesome, man? So this is Chunk the Groundhog. Welcome, Chunk. Welcome to the show, Chunk. And Chunk has these fine people somewhere. I don't know where they are. 80,000 subscribers watching Chunk eat. That's all Chunk does is eat. Comes out, he gets his fucking carrots. He's got his water fountain. He eats those flowers, too. He likes flowers. And he loves the tomatoes, too. The patch of tomato. See, this is the way you treat nature, right? This is harmony. This is harmony. And he makes, whoever's doing this is making some money because there's commercials and it's very friendly and it's just chunk the fucking groundhog. And there's another one. There's another groundhog. I don't know what the other one's name is, but you see it. And then there's a little one. There's a baby. So there's like three, I think maybe even 4 groundhogs come out. Every once in a while you'll see a squirrel bomb the frame or birds. But that's it. That's the whole thing. It's Chunk. He's surrounded by cameras and he comes and he eats and he lives under the house. He's got himself a picnic table. Very, very, very great idea, man. I love this shit. If I lived in the country, this is what I would do, man. It's fucking beautiful, right? It's beautiful. Oh, there's a bird. So that's Chunk the Groundhog, man. Shit is going down in New York. I hear sirens outside. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if my mic picks it up, but it's my ears pick it up right through the shit. So, so last night there was National Guard prepared for protests in Cleveland ahead of Biden-Trump debate. Nothing. Big nothing burger. The National Guard was already roaming the streets of Cleveland, Ohio, while storefronts were boarded up amid fears of violent protests ahead of the first Biden-Trump presidential debate. It's false. What does that tell you? It tells you that Antifa and Black Lives Matter don't give a shit about your stupid candidates. They don't care. They're not anti-Trump. They're not pro-Biden. The young people want all of you fuckers out. Break the system. Right? That's what they're calling for. Right? So there was no violence. What violence? Trump supporters are going to be violent? No, the Trump supporters are never violent. Trump supporters defend themselves. They defend the property. Right? If there's no violence, Trump rallies are the most peaceful places. So are Bernie rallies. Right? It's the antagonists. It's Antifa. It's Black Lives Matter that cause it, and they didn't show up in Cleveland, Ohio, because they don't give a fuck about Biden. I've been saying that all along. There's no victory there. When Joe Biden supports the far left, that's not a winning proposition because they don't give a shit. They're not going to go out and vote for your stupid candidate. They know you're a bunch of fucking liars. You robbed their candidate, Bernie Sanders. At least they were somewhat behind that guy. And you guys stabbed them in the back. You think they're going to turn around? You think they're so fucking stupid that they're going to turn around and vote for your guy? No. If they were, they would be out there screaming and yelling outside like they usually are. But they're not. So that was a bust. Total bust. So let's look at the market. Look at this. It's 9:30. All right, so the market is open. Markets have opened up 180. It was the futures were down. Futures were down about 200 prior. and they sparked. This is important to look at. So Dow Jones Industrial Average up 180. It's only open for 8 minutes so far, and you can see that the whole thing is hovering at the top, at the very top. I keep clicking it. Oh, there it is. We're way at the top. 27,600 on the Dow is very, very high. And you see my chart. You know, I had called the bottom down here, but it bounced. It actually broke the bottom. Conte called that. I called it when it was way the fuck up here, and it crashed and then recovered, right? Because why? Because the federal government has opened the spigot to anything that the politicians ask for, right? Oh, you need $1 trillion to revive the stock market? Okay, here's the $1 trillion. That was the difference. That the Fed did things that were unprecedented, where they basically declared the stock market and corporations too big to fail. The fucking stock market is too big to fail, according to the Fed. So of course it's going to go up. It's rigged. Right? Now, how many people are enjoying that rig? How many people are enjoying that rebound, that bounce? Not many, but there are probably 1 million billionaires, 1 million people, not billionaires, but 1 million rich people that are fucking rock hard over that, right? Because of the bounce. But the point is, yesterday was a major debate. The first time the president confronts a competitor, right? Someone trying to knock him off his seat, right? And if you look at the chart, it tells you that the markets flipped it a birdie. Right? The market went, fuck you, we don't care. Why? We're going to get Trump, right? We don't have anything to lose, because even if we lost to Biden, it's just we take the pile of money over here and we move it over here. It's not a big deal. Now, if you lose to someone like Bernie Sanders or even to some degree Elizabeth Warren, you as an oligarch have a fucking problem. Because this guy is coming for your bread. He's coming for your bread. He's coming for your throat. He's looking to change the system. Well, these two guys are not changing anything. Trump is just throwing gas on the fire, and Biden is looking to steal it and hand it to somebody else to take care of, so that he makes more money for himself and his family and enriches himself. So no effect. Wall Street could care less. In fact, they like it. They like it. Oh, I think they probably think Trump's just going to landslide it. So, as I said before, I tried to find out how many people watched the debate, the first debate last night between Trump and Biden. Couldn't find the number, but these are some interesting numbers. You remember this? It was the same setup too. You remember the exact same stage that they used back then. They used it this time, right? Monday night was the most. This is 2016 September. Well over 80 million people tuned in to see Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump face off, setting a new record in the 60-year history of televised presidential debates. If anybody knows how many people watched last night, I would be interested in knowing, because I couldn't find it. I would say originally they had said about 80 million people would watch. And then, if mainstream media is not reporting it, the numbers were probably high, because it could have broken the previous record. But let's say safely that, let's say 70 million people watched. That's a lot of people. A lot of people watching that shit. There was crickets in the audience, because it wasn't a real audience. In the audience was Joe Biden's wife, fucking doctor, whatever her name is, and Trump's kids. All the kids were there. Everybody, every one of them, they were all there. So Ivanka, she's hot, man. Ivanka's a hot fucking piece. Right? If she ran for president, man, I'd vote for her. I'd vote. Both of my heads would vote for Ivanka. I'd put both of my heads together and I'd say, yeah, Ivanka, I like her. I think she's good for the country. She's good. Ivanka. Oh man, I think that's her name, right? Ivanka. So that's a little history. So let's look at the highlights. And we're ready to go. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. No handshakes. This is just some highlights that CNBC clipped together. They mostly favor Biden, but we'll just look at and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk more about it. Let's just see if in the chat, give me a 1 if you watched the debates and 2 if you didn't bother or you didn't have time or you missed it. Give me a 1 if you watched the debates and 2 you didn't watch it.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, China ate your lunch, Joe. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree-
want to
Hey,
make
Joe,
sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that.
You know what?
Absolutely not
stop.
true.
You're on tape doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
true.
Gentlemen. I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but I
on
see it
tape.
seems to be. Why shouldn't I be different than the two of you?
That's how it went, man.
I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States.
False.
They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already.
That made no sense. Makes no sense.
He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died. And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault.
Biden is just stuck on stupid, man.
This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It was kind of booming, and Trump didn't blow it. The markets are way up.
We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch, down
All right, gentlemen,
18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at
true.
it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
That's
What
not
did he
true.
do to deserve it?
That
What
is
did he do with Burisma
none
to
of that-
deserve
Wait,
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked
that
your
is
question,
true.
let him answer
It is true.
None of that is true. It's
Oh, really?
been totally
He didn't get
But no.
$3.5?
This is the big one, the white supremacist thing, right? Watch this.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do that,
specifically
but
do it?
Well,
I
go
would
ahead,
say
sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to
supremacists.
condemn?
White
Proud Boys.
supremacists and right-wing
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
His
This
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a
the
left-wing
threat
Go ahead,
problem.
of white
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you gotta be
not
kidding.
militia.
Wow, that was a heavy gaffe. Joe Biden said that Antifa's what is
White
that?
Go ahead,
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization. What does that mean? Of course, it's a fucking organization. So that's how the whole night went, right? I'm a combination of peppermint and eucalyptus right now. Waking up. Why can't we have somebody that chants Hare Krishna on the stage? Hare Rama. Instead, we got two uptight political types jostling back and forth. Who won that debate? Right? So Trump got in some jabs. I think the way they cut this together, Trump got in a lot more jabs than Biden, but there was, again, no substantive talk on the things that matter to the American people. Do people really care about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's son, and stealing $3.5 million in Burisma, the Burisma deal? Do people really, does that affect us? It shows that, yes, politicians are corrupt. But Trump clearly is doing the same thing. He evades tax. We don't even know to what degree Trump is systematically investing himself and the Trump brand for generations to come. We don't know that until after he leaves. We'll find out later. Usually find out after the fact. Once he leaves. Once he leaves, all the dirt comes out. But so what does that prove? It proves that politicians are corrupt. They're angry. And people looking around the world look at this and say, what's in it for the American people, right? There is a sadness when you watch it. I wanted to see, the only thing that they had said about healthcare was that Trump is anti-Obamacare, and Biden pushed him and said, well, what do you stand for? What do you want, Mr. Trump, President Trump? What have you done to make healthcare available for all people in this country? And Trump just didn't have a fucking answer. Something much better, right? And transversely, Trump said to Biden, "You've been in office, you've been in politics for 47 years, and what did you do? You were in the White House for 8 years, right, under Obama, and you still couldn't get a healthcare system that works." Because Obama folded. Obama ran on an idea of universal, health care for all, and then it became universal coverage, meaning that we're going to mandate you to be covered and charge you exorbitant amounts of money for health care that sucks. That's what it became. So can Biden say that Obamacare was a move in the right direction? No, it was a fucking monkey wrench. It was hijacked by the Republican Party. I said it fails. It's a failed. Obamacare is a failed policy. So Trump never came up. Trump has had 4 years to come up with something. No, nothing. So in terms of war, I think Trump is probably a little less militant than a Biden administration would be, a little bit. So let's watch it out. So let's watch some of the spin. Here's Sean Hannity.
All right, welcome to Hannity. The very first presidential debate is now officially in the books, and the extremely weak, the frail, the confused, kind of angry Joe Biden just got steamrolled by President Trump. Joe flat out refused to answer simple, basic, fundamental questions, unable to respond to the president's beatdowns, and he appeared flustered, irritated, and, cranky. Joe, maybe it's past his bedtime.
That's good, too. Somebody, Terry Miller says, Vanderloo says, no talk about stimulus or health care. Well, I just said that, but no talk about stimulus, right? I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear a single word about the next round of money for real people, that $1,200 check thing. I didn't hear anything, not a single word.
Probably stayed up too late, needs his nap. Anyway, we have a lot of live reaction for the full hour. Analysis moments away. Donald Trump Jr. will be here. Sarah Sanders will be here. Dan Bongino, Judge Janine will also join us. Ari Fleischer. And
so Hannity already has declared.
Will join us as well. But
has already declared Trump the winner. President Trump steamrolls Biden.
First, let's start with Joe Biden, who once again refused to answer a simple, basic, fundamental question. Would he support packing the United States Supreme Court? He refuses to answer. Take a look.
Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should...
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. What kind of fucking answer is that? Packing the court means that they want to raise the number of Supreme Court justices from 9 to whatever number, as high as maybe 20. I'd imagine filling up the whole room with judges. Should have less. Have one judge. So Biden, because that works to the advantage of the Democrats or the liberal left. because 9 right now is right now after Trump gets his next pick, there'll be 6-3. So the Democrats figure, oh, if we'll make it 20, then we'll pack the court with liberal judges and we'll diffuse the conservative view. That's the idea, and Biden just refuses to fly into that notion.
Should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer.
You gotta love Trump. Just that's what that first clip didn't show. Trump was constantly, as Biden was trying to speak, Trump just kept jabbing him. You hear him the whole time, man. Trump didn't shut up the whole time.
Answer the question
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question
You want to put a lot of new Supreme Court justices, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Shut up,
This
man.
is
Who's on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
He's
ended-
not
no, no.
going to give a
We
list.
have-
Unpresidential. What does unpresidential mean, Biden? You're fighting. This is so important. Trump is defending his title. This is the championship fight. This is the heavyweight championship of the world right here. And Trump is defending himself. And that is presidential. Defending yourself. Giving the driver's seat over to you. Handing the wheel to you, Joe Biden, the dead guy. He didn't seem that dead tonight. He seemed kind of awake. Maybe they shot him up with something. Trump never pushed him on the mandatory drug test, which I thought he would. Trump also never challenged him on the senility thing. Those are the two things that I thought he would push him a little bit, just mention it. You're old, you're senile, you're on drugs. You're fucking senile, you're on drugs. Piss in a cup, man. Piss. He didn't do that. He should have, I think. It would have been, it was already funny, but it would have been even more funny. So let's listen to more of Hannity spin.
We've ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
Shut up, Joe. Oh, he's running for president also. Joe won't answer a pivotal, important question on whether or not he planned to destroy the U.S. Supreme Court with an illicit practice known as court packing. Pretty much of a pathetic, simple question. Why couldn't he answer? Tonight, Joe wasn't just refusing to answer basic, simple questions. At times, he could barely form a sentence.
Now, this is obviously the right-wing spin, right? The conservative spin.
Many, struggling moments. Take a look.
200,000 people that have died on his watch.
So, that's when Joe Biden is lying. He lies because it's just hard to lie with a straight face. It's just a stutter. It's 200,000. He stutters because the fact is 200,000 people who die of a flu in the United States is not a lot in the course of a year, especially when you're fudging or packing those numbers. It's probably much less. More people die of heart disease. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people die of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, strokes, obesity, addiction. But a lot of those people, of course, the COVID death numbers are rigged. They're fucked up. They didn't add up. So there goes Joe Biden stuttering.
How many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying Senator Harris is saying you can't trust the scientists.
No, you can't trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust.
She said the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. The way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. But
I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax.
With you,
This is good. Hannity they sewed together all of the stupid gaffes.
Penny in tax.
With you,
Go ahead. Wait a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just say to you.
Clown.
Now, it's no wonder that Joe did, well, so little to improve the country. He's been nearly 5 decades in the swamp, the sewer that we call Washington, D.C., as the president pointed out, also numerous times tonight. Let's take a look.
Joe, I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing.
That's funny.
Now, instead of actually helping Americans, 47 years, Joe Biden was busy lining the pockets of his own family. In spite of him denying it, he's wrong. That includes zero experience Hunter Biden. And as we have learned this week, we got Russian oligarchs, we got Ukrainian oligarchs, we got Russian nationals, we got Chinese nationals, Ukrainian nationals, Kazakh nationals, who, all in business. We have wire transfers, millions of dollars from Ukrainian, Russian oligarchs.
Hannity is pretty much full of shit, but I like his. I like that he's spinning it from the right. I think Hannity's I like Tucker Carlson on Fox. This guy's not so honest. I just don't think Hannity is very honest at this point. I don't think he's able. I don't think he remembers what real people think and feel. I just think he's lost.
Shopping sprees courtesy of China, people connected to the Communist Party of China, and of course the $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China. But he denied it all. Not true.
Trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch down 18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million? What did he do to deserve it?
Will the mob, the media, will they ever fact check Joe? Let's see. Now, Tuesday, November 3rd, that is 34 days away. So much is at stake for this country. Joe Biden, card-carrying member of the sewer, the swamp, and he has been in Washington nearly 50 years with nothing to show for it but growing a bank account for his entire family. Now, Joe, well, he's made a deal with the radical left, and in spite of his denial tonight, he did go along with the manifesto of Bolshevik Bernie. If elected, well, he might enter the Oval Office, but they will be in control. That's for sure.
Thank you, Hannity, man. Oh, fucking Hannity. So let's look at Mr. Potato Head at TYT. Let's see what he said.
Debate and the points that the president scored were on the vice president's son, which didn't seem to me as something that voters, especially undecided voters, are looking at.
In my opinion, this debate was largely a tie because it was a train wreck. It's the biggest train wreck debate I have ever seen in my life. And tie goes to the person who's leading. And right now, Joe Biden is leading significantly.
So it's a train wreck, and Biden, the victory goes to Biden because he's leading in the fake polls. That's Cenk Uygur's big picture assessment.
So now let's talk about who had upsides and downsides. So obviously the biggest downside for Donald Trump was he seemed incredibly rude, total bully, bull in a china shop, etc. Now, but there is a big question as to whether the American people will see that and think, well, he was strong and Biden was weak, or if they'll look at that and go, I can't stand that guy. Now, look, the folks who are Democrats and can't stand Trump already, their answer is obvious. The MAGA guys, their answer is obvious. Right. But the critical middle, I don't know how they're going to react to it. But
I know how they're going to react to it. They're going to continue with the policy of letting Trump, the wrecking ball, hopefully destroy the Democratic Party and get a real candidate in there. Keep exposing the Democratic Party for. See, the hijack is not in the Republican Party. Trump already successfully did that. The hijack is to get control of the Democratic Party, which is spinning out of control, which has lost their voice, but still has a lot of power. That's always been the goal.
I can't imagine that any reasonable person looks at that and thought, "Oh, Trump was a guy who is, civil and." And not that civility is the number one trait, and we certainly don't think that, but is a decent human being who was having an exchange of ideas, had the facts at his disposal, and won the debate. On the other hand, Joe Biden in the beginning, I'll be honest, seemed shell-shocked when Trump came out guns blazing, interrupting everything he was saying. He couldn't get in a word in edgewise. He looked nervous. Now, the rest of the debate, Biden started picking up steam. He told Trump to shut up when he got his legs under him and stop your yapping. And it was a little bit of a cathartic moment for at least half the country when he said that. But to me, the biggest part of this debate, and why I think at the end of the day, Trump will not have gained anything from this debate, which is very problematic for him as he's losing very badly, including in the swing states. We'll tell you about the polling a little bit later in this show.
That's not true. He's not the polling. The polling now matters. See that's how you're going to tell. If you want to tell, if you want a tell of what people perceived, right, in this divided world where people are not allowed to be 6 feet from each other, and they are walking around with masks. If you want to find out how people reacted to this, the question is, did this debate move the polling? Did it move people's opinion? That's the whole shit. And in my opinion, I don't even know, I wouldn't even know how to measure it. You can't even get an accurate number of how many people watched the damn thing, because everything's a mystery now. Everything is shh. Just go to sleep. Go to sleep, voters. Voters, go to sleep. Everything will be fine. We have everything under control. You are living in a dream. Smoke your hookah. Watch your lesbian channel. Don't worry, we will take care of everything. We have everything under control. Just go back to sleep. See, that's the oligarchs speaking. Right? That's what they're doing, right? They want you to go back to sleep. People are comparing Chunk the groundhog to Chunk Uger. It's a good analogy, right? Let's put the two together. Right? Here's fucking Chunk, right? Chunk, and Chunkier. Where is he? Where's Chunkier? There he is. Chunk, and Chunkier.
But the biggest moment was when Chris Wallace did a softball, and he was right to do it because it was a question that Trump has not answered easily in the past. He said, "Do you denounce white supremacists?" Easiest question I've ever seen in a debate. And Trump would not say yes. He would not say yes. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Why is it
so? Because and when asked, he said, "Okay, give me specifics." Like, in other words, what kind of white supremacists are we talking about? By definition, here, if you ask me, hey, will you denounce white supremacists? Yes, I denounce all of them. Easiest thing. For him, he's like, well, it depends. Are we talking about the Klan? Are we talking about Nazis? Who are we talking about, right? And so then when Chris Wallace mentioned Proud Boys as an...
Trump said that the right and Proud Boys are not nearly as violent and antagonistic as the far left, which he would be accurate in saying that. Right? So, I mean, you could have rephrased the question. You could ask Biden, will you denounce anti-white racism? How come you don't ask that question? How come you don't ask what is obvious, where people literally making laws, right, which Trump discarded that law, the law of teaching white privilege in schools and such. Trump discarded that rule. They had a rule, and they were teaching kids about how horrible the country was, and racist. Everybody's a racist. Everybody's a white supremacist and white privilege. And Trump was able. I did that in another show. I'm not going to do it again. But Trump was able to get that rule thrown out. Right? And so the question is: would you ask Joe Biden? Do you support anti-white discrimination in this country? Why won't you answer the question? Why won't you answer the question? Right? Because all of your rhetoric seems to point to the fact that you do. because you're supporting and giving cover to people like Antifa and Black Lives Matter, who are openly anti-white, openly. So, but Trump, white supremacy, what does that even mean? It doesn't even mean anything. Proud Boys are not white supremacists. They just want, I don't know what they want. But anyway.
An example of folks who are overzealous vigilantes. He didn't frame it that way exactly, but he mentioned, he's like, if you want a group, okay, fine. Now I'll give you one group that's not necessarily in the category of white supremacists, but that is in the category of taking some physical action at these protests, rallies, riots, whatever you want to call them, right?
All right, so that's Mr. Potato Head. You get the idea of what, I don't even want to hear what the rest of them have to say, but that's TYT, Mr. Potato Head. 200,000 people watching the premiere of that thing. 5 million subscribers, so big audience, right? Hannity's audience, TYT. I guess those are the two big ones, right? We gave Hannity and TYT. Let's look at a little more introverted. This is Caitlin Johnstone that I follow. I read it here and there. Russia could never discredit the U.S. empire the way these guys just did. Now, she's a writer, so there's no video, but, wow. I mean, wow. So, in case you missed it, the first U.S. presidential debate was everything the U.S. empire deserves and a fair reflection of everything the U.S. empire is. If Vladimir Putin were every bit the election meddling demon the Democrats say he is, and if he had unlimited time and unlimited resources to create the perfect 9-minute propaganda video to discredit the U.S.-led unipolar world order, he could not have designed one more efficient than the performance that was just delivered by President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden with the help of a moderator, Chris Wallace. Now, that's quite an assessment. She's saying that straight up. The whole thing, 90-minute propaganda piece, that the whole thing was just garbage and propaganda. Now, she's not left or right, Caitlin Johnstone. She's just, they're all full of shit, and they all have to go. And let's see what clip she put up.
To condemn white supremacists and militia groups, and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Where do we see that in Kenosha? In Kenosha, we saw, even the question is rigged. Kenosha was the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting where he defends himself. So where is it vigilantes in Kenosha? The question itself is flawed.
Willing to do
specifically
that, but
do it.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
He just told the Proud Boys to stand by. It's fucking shit is trending. Right? So what else did Caitlin Johnstone say? I mean, it had everything. Both candidates yelling over each other the entire time. Biden telling the sitting president of the United States to shut up on television. Trump at one point saying the Proud Boys should stand back and stand by. Chris Wallace literally shouting to be heard over the unceasing interruptions. Biden getting confused and arguing that the Green New Deal would pay for itself. He did that. And then turned around saying he did not support the Green New Deal. Mountains of lies and nonsense. Both candidates trying to outright wing each other. And absolutely no meaningful discussion of policies that will actually help ordinary Americans. That's my assessment. I was waiting for the stuff. Stimulus check, de-escalate the wars, break up the banks. Any talk about the fact that the large banks just got caught in money laundering, confirmed money laundering to the tune of $2 trillion, making giving money to drug lords and laundering money all over the world. No talk of that. No talk about the corrupt oligarchy at all, which makes it the whole thing is a right-wing conspiracy propaganda piece. Right? 'Cause Biden Biden doesn't have the fortitude or maybe even the knowledge base to make that argument, to make the argument like Bernie Sanders would make that Trump is in bed with the billionaire class, and so are you, Joe Biden. So are fucking you. So, what else? Caitlin Johnstone. I like this. This is good. This is good stuff. See, this gets me on track when I read this. Right? It was crazier than any of Trump's debates in 2016. I don't agree with that. The craziest one was him, literally stalking Hillary Clinton, standing behind her, saying, "You're going to go to jail. If it were me, you'd be in jail." That was crazy. That shit was crazy. It was crazier than any presidential debate that has ever happened. You seriously could not have designed a more perfect display to do everything you've been told for years that Russian propagandists are trying to do. Depress the vote, encourage support for third parties, weaken political public trust in America's institutions, and humiliate the United States on the world stage. Oh, I don't know about all that. I think that the American people want to be entertained. They're not going to watch it if it's not substantive. I can't get that word, man. Fucking word, man. They're not going to watch. They're going to turn it off. That's just the psychology of people. If it's not entertaining, I'm out of here. I got fucking hookah to smoke and other stuff. Shit in my refrigerator. What do I want to sit here and watch this shit for, man? I go have a meal. I'll go walk. I'll go pet the dog. I'll pet the fucking cat. I don't need this shit. Oh, it's funny. And then suddenly Trump is funny and Trump is interruptive and he's beating the shit out of these two idiots right on stage. And then people come back to it. Is it a sad day in America? No, it reflects where people are at. It definitely does. It definitely shows you that people are fucked up. People are broken. People are isolated. People are powerless. Powerless. People are powerless. They've lost their power. They've lost their ability to have a say in politics. All of these issues, all of the issues that the Bernie left made, all these policies that they thought that they were going to run through, none of that is on the stage. Instead, you've got cheap shots and insults and who's crazier than who and who's a clown and who's an idiot and shut up and your son's a cokehead and a crackhead and what did he do with the $3.5 million that he stole from Burisma? That's all we heard. Right? We heard bullshit. Now, if you're a Trump guy, you would probably like that because Biden didn't make any game changer. There's no game changer. There's nothing that Biden did to derail Trump. Right? And in that vein, the incumbent wins, despite what Chunk Uger and the idiots on the left are saying about the polling. Polling is fake. So, what's this clip? Let's watch this.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
He stood up.
No, the answer to the question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
that
get rid of
is
the
absolutely
you know what, you're
not
stop.
true.
Tape doing it.
You're going to
On
have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen. I hate to raise my voice,
He's
but
on
it seems
tape.
to be. Why shouldn't I be different than the two of you?
Trump is in control. Trump is the puppet master. These two guys are puppets in Trump's field. That's how you have to view it, right? Because Trump is leading the conversation. He's leading it into a ditch, right? Because that's what Trump does. Trump is smoke and mirrors. He's the wizard behind the curtain, and the idea is to keep people away from peeking behind that curtain. Trump is masterful at it. Right? Confuse it, insult, goof, jab, punch.
So
Counterpunch.
here's the deal.
Good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say.
This is your country, by the way, right? This is your country. This is the highest representation of your country. Do you feel proud about it? Does this make you feel good? I guess that's a question to ask yourself. When you watch this, do you feel, what do you feel? You feel disgust. you feel angry, you feel betrayed, you feel unrepresented, taxation without representation. You feel like maybe like there is no more hope in politics, that we're just slaves to the grind, that nothing is moving in the right direction, certainly not through politics, but you know, I say consciousness awakening. An awakening has to happen. I think it did to some degree. I keep saying that. But as you watch this, you realize that the change is not coming through politics. This whole fucking political system is a meltdown. Are these debates and this kind of political jostling and rhetoric and personal attacks any different than other times in American history? The answer is no. In this country, we used to settle debates. The politicians used to settle debates by dueling, gun shooting each other, where they'd stand back to back, walk, turn, and shoot each other. I had a vice president died with a bullet to the fucking chest. Dueling because of political indifference, because of difference of opinion, insulting one's manhood. So this country has a rich history of this. This is not unusual. Every single debate, the guy, and Trump knows this intuitively, that these debates they're not about politics. They're about, if people like you, they buy. Trump is the master salesman. Trump wins. On that note, Trump wins. If you can disrupt the other guy and make him stutter and make him not know what the fuck he's talking about, or not be able to get off a legitimate attack, you win. Now, those are the rules. Those are the psychological rules that we all play by. And historically, that is not different than any other time. Go back in recent history. Trump, Clinton. Go Nixon, JFK. Go, and on and on and on. We only have the recorded history, but we also have written history where these motherfuckers like Volpe, the VP that got shot in the chest in a duel. That was only in the 1800s. It's not long ago. It's a little over 100 years ago. They were shooting each other. So, there's one more paragraph by Kalen Johnston. We'll move on. We got H.A. Goodman on deck. And Satan. It is good for the U.S. empire to invalidate itself in this way. Really. The government that has encircled the planet with hundreds of military bases and snuffed out millions of human lives while displacing tens of millions since 9/11 in military interventions that were based on lies, which sanctions, sabotage, and destroys any nation, not one, but two any nation which dares to disobey its dictators, its dictations, and which is escalating world-threatening Cold War aggressions against not one, but two nuclear-armed nations, China and Russia, is not a government that should have any control over humanity's collective future. So that's the big picture from Caitlin Johnstone. Nothing about interventionist war, nothing substantive about health care for all, nothing substantive about the threat of global warming or human intervention in the idea that we are inextricably responsible for the decay of 60% of the planet. None of that. It was just nothing. It was just. Do those things even matter? Do we make those up in our head? Are they worthy of discussion, or we just vote for the shit sandwich in front of us? So let's look at Satan. Hey, so I'm not a Satanist. No, I'm not a Satanist. I'm not a pagan. Meanwhile, he's like 1 out of 4 videos every day is about Satan shit.
All right, everyone, I just got done watching the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So here's my analysis and reaction. It might be a little bit of a long video here because there's actually quite a bit to say. First, let me say that the predictable happened, which is that Chris Wallace spent most of his time as moderator sparring largely with Trump, but at times even with Biden. It was very combative. And I don't know that the average independent or undecided voter really got anything out of this, because basically it's sort of formulaic, because you sort of knew what Trump and Biden were going to be saying and talking about anyway. And so for people, it's basically just a rehash of things that they've been saying on the campaign trail. More from Trump than from Biden, because Biden's not really campaigning.
You know, I have much. I'm twice this guy's age, right? And my hair is way more beautiful than him. His hair is all dried out and fucked up, right? Right? And why does he have a a cat's asshole on his face, right? He's got the cat's asshole goatee guy. My hair is nicer than him. Right? I like that. I like that idea, right? He's got a cool jacket, though. Right? This guy's, I don't really like him. I don't like his opinion, but fuck it.
I thought that the biggest flub for Trump was definitely on the white supremacy thing, but not because of a refusal to disavow Nazis, which he's already done multiple times, but because he didn't follow through on the Charlottesville thing. Chris Wallace explicitly brought up Trump's comments on Charlottesville, the great people on both sides, or whatever he said about it. That is an out-of-context debunked quote that has been...
He gets into it in a little bit. I want you to hear what he has to say, because he does have... it takes him a minute for his brain to kick in, but he appears to have a knowledge base sometimes.
Been repeated by every single Democrat on the campaign trail, which is portrayed as Trump encouraging Nazis. That is literally never what he has said. He was referring to liberal...
Six Hexenhammer is one of these... he's a pseudo-intellectual. Everything is in his head. He doesn't feel anything. Nothing is visceral with this guy. It's all head. It's all intellectual jostling, mental anguish, angst. He doesn't put anything. There's nothing heartfelt in anything that Stick says. But some of the stats that fly out of his mouth are kind of funny.
College kids and the 99% of people that were there that were neither carrying tiki torches nor belonged to Antifa. He was talking about liberal counter-protesters both for and against the Confederate memorials that were there, to the exclusion of these other groups. If you repeat the next two sentences that Trump said, that is conspicuously clear. Did Trump follow through on this? No. And here is my biggest problem with Trump as a debater. Ultimately, this is a lukewarm, mild win for Trump, but a mild win for Trump in this debate is almost a loss. I'll get into that too. My biggest problem...
I disagree with that. I would disagree with that assessment. That's his whole saying. He's saying that Trump scored a mild win, and that doesn't move the pendulum because Sticks is an intellectual Jackie, right? And he believes, this kid believes in the polling. He leans completely on the fake polls. And the fake polls are saying that Biden is winning. So based on, if you can't get past the fact that the elections in this country are rigged and that the polling is sponsored by the very people that are doing the rigging, then you would come to the assumption that Biden is leading, and because Trump didn't knock Biden out of the ring, he lost, or only scored a mild win. Right? You have to get your hand, Mr. Hexenhammer. You have to get your head around the fact that the polling is skewed.
Problem with Trump as a debater, and he did this at all three debates with Hillary as well, so this isn't a new thing, and I fully predicted this and I expected it. He has trouble following through. If his train of thought were a little bit less bombastic, he could follow...
And that's a great point. Farm Cat in the chat says polls said Hillary was winning. Yeah, 100%. Nate Silver at 538 had Hillary Clinton winning 100%. Even as the results were coming in, he still stuck to it until Florida flipped, and then he said, "Oh, a 50% chance." He changed in the hour that. So the whole fucking thing is rigged. We know that, but this kid doesn't know that.
Follow through with haymakers all night, and he would have crushed Joe Biden. Biden left open so many opportunities to attack that were not fully fleshed out and taken care of by Trump, even when the debate moderator wasn't interrupting him. at times when Wallace was just sitting there quietly. Trump had, I counted probably 24 opportunities for proper attack, both based on questions he had been asked and statements Biden made. Never once did he fully follow through. He starts meandering into the topic and you think, well, he's going to do it. He's going to follow through. And then 10 seconds later, he veers off into another line of reasoning.
What's shocking, too, is this kid got, there's 80,000 views already, 9,000 thumbs up. It's just, he's got a hell of a reach, 500,000 subscribers. It's fascinating. I'm fascinated by his reach. We're Buffy? Is we Buffy? I see some Buffy. No. Is we Buffy? No. I should pop back on. But this kid has a lot of a very, very wide reach. He was a Satanist, and he claims to be a pagan. Whatever the fuck that means. What does it even mean? I'm a pagan. What? I'm a Hare Krishna because I like their chant. Because I like their chant, I'm a Hare Krishna. No fucking Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh yeah. Rama, Rama. I'm no Hare Krishna. What are you talking about, man? I'm no Hare Krishna. You know, this is the mantra, by the way. Hare Krishna. It's the guru. I see the guru. I'll show you the guru. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Religion, man. Religion's all crazy, right? It doesn't. I'm no member of no religion or fucking any of that shit. But you can borrow from all of them. There's a lot of good things that the Krishnas say. There's a lot of good things that the Christians say, and the Jews have a handful of stuff in the Torah, and but mostly, you know, the teachings of the Buddha, the age-old idea of mindfulness and right effort and the Four Noble Truths of suffering, that people suffer. People are suffering all the time. Religion. I don't know what the hell that has to do with Styx Hexenhammer, the Satanist, but.
Meanwhile, with Joe Biden, one big problem with what Joe Biden is doing is that he refused specifically, this was the big takeaway in the early part of the debate, Biden refused explicitly to answer whether he would stack the Supreme Court. This is deliberate. He can't answer. If he says that he will stack the Supreme Court, oh, the moderates aren't going to like that. If he says that he's not, the leftists won't like him. It's funny because Trump didn't really go after him on that either. Wallace went after him, I think, more.
All right, so there's no substance to what Styx Hexenhammer said. It's all in his head. It's all head vibrato. Thank you, Styx Hexenhammer. So, Dice. Oh, fucking Mark Dice, man.
Well, the first of what was supposed to be 3 presidential debates was on Tuesday, and while President Trump didn't disappoint, not everyone enjoyed the show.
Clearly, this was the most chaotic presidential debate I've ever seen, and I suspect most of you, if not all of you, have ever seen most chaotic presidential debate, and it will certainly raising a lot of questions about the future of the presidential.
I forgot this guy even exists, Wolf Blitzer. You remember Wolf Blitzer? He's on CNN propaganding away. Right? There's a fucking serious propaganda machine out there. I'm giving you the people that actually are paying attention somewhat. I don't know about Hannity, but I would put Wolf Blitzer in the same category as Hannity.
Debate between these two candidates. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if this is the last presidential debate between the President of the United States and the former Vice President of the United States, but we shall see fairly soon.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck. That was the worst debate I have ever seen. In fact, it wasn't even a debate.
Because your guy lost. Your guy got crushed, and you know that's a death blow. Trump delivered the death blow. He didn't let your guy talk. That's why you're pissed off.
It was a disgrace, and it's.
So I'm coming to the conclusion that Trump wins. I didn't really have an opinion before this, but now I do. Trump wins because Trump totally derailed all of these idiots to think that that this election is actually about the people. That's why Trump wins. Trump brings it right back to the groin level, to jostling, jostling about his penis. Now, I don't have an opinion or support either one of these clowns. I just think that if you're asking me who won, who's the winner of the debate, who will win the election, I will say that it's Trump, based on the visceral reactions of the fake news, of the other commentators, of the Antifa and Black Lives Matter, who refuse to even peep about the election, right? Biden has no support. Biden has no visual support whatsoever, right? It's unproven support. Calling landlines, calling old people, old Democrats on landlines and asking them who they're going to vote for and they tell you Biden is not a fucking poll. It's not a poll of what people are thinking, the independent voice. Just ask yourself, if anybody in this chat has ever been polled, ever been called on the phone and did a political poll, give me a thumbs up or give me a 1, because I don't think there's anybody watching this or anybody. I'll go one step further. Have you or anybody you know ever been polled by telephone by any of these pollsters? Mammoth, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC. Has any of these agencies ever contacted you or anybody else in a poll? And I would venture to say the answer is no. Why? Because you have a cell phone, right? So Jason Walsh, once in 2016 in my whole life. Okay, once.
Primarily because of President Trump. We'll talk about who won the debate, who lost the debate, but I can tell you one thing for sure. The American people lost tonight, because that was horrific.
You just took the words out of my mouth. You used some high-minded language. I'm just going to say it like it is. That was a shit show.
Show doesn't even begin to describe it.
And, we're on cable. We can say that.
See, that's why Trump wins, because they're trying to turn it into a shit show. You see how Trump wins? Trump is a fucking genius, man. He's genius at this shit. Just go in there, disrupt it, and get out. I say, you're the president, man. You don't need to listen to this idiot. He's the clown. You don't need to listen to him. That was the strategy that Trump used for Hillary Clinton. He did it again, and he won. And he's going to continue to do it. He's not going to relent. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more intense. Trump is going to get fucking more. He's going to do more of that. The more you say, shut up, he's going to just do more of it.
Apologies for being maybe a little bit crude, but that is really the phrase that I'm getting from people on both sides of the aisle on text, and it's the only phrase that I can think of to really describe it. And I couldn't agree with you more, Jake.
I think we need to just pause for a moment and say, that was crazy. What was that?
It was a train wreck, but it was a train wreck of the making of one person. I mean, we know who did it. President Trump did this. And in some ways, it's the only way he knows what to do. He bulldozed over the moderator, he bulldozed over Chris Wallace, bulldozed and at times flustered Joe Biden. But I don't know if anybody wouldn't have been flustered by the president's behavior and the president's performance.
Should there be? I mean, there's supposed to be. The vice presidential debate is next. And then there's supposed.
When you watch CNN, you see that they're all nervous. They feel they're saying it's a train wreck because their guy got crushed. Their guy, Joe Biden. So this is a good tell right here when you watch CNN. Thank you, Mark Dice, for putting this up. Who the hell has time for all this shit, man? I don't know don't you guys sleep, man? I need to fucking sleep. I'm not going to stay up all night watching fake news and cutting shit together. I'll just fucking steal it from you, man. Thank you.
Be 2 more presidential debates.
I must say, I don't think the country's going to be yearning for another one of these. I think that Biden has a decision to make. You know what'll happen if he says, "I don't want to. I'm not going to dignify this with another debate." That the president will attack him for running away from debates. But I'm not sure the country will feel that way, having watched this spectacle.
Well, I for one sure hope there's a sequel. And even Joe Biden couldn't help but laugh at some of President Trump's zingers.
Your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
Outside, yes, sir. Agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
This is a great jab Trump gets in there. Right? Listen to this exchange again. All right, listen to this.
crowds packed together, thousands of people. Outside, yes, sir. Agreed.
His rallies.
Some of President Trump's zingers.
Your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
That is not different for Trump. Trump has always had thousands of people. Thousands. I've been to them. Thousands of people.
Outside, yes, sir. Agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with...
Because nobody will show up.
People with...
What's true?
That was the jab of the night, and that was the truth, right? Joe Biden, look at him trying to laugh it off. Look at him, fake Joe, trying to laugh it off. Ha, 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 everybody wants to come see me. No, Joe, nobody wants to come see you. That's why you're doing the small rallies, right? Nobody will show up. Trump was brilliant fucking punch. Brilliant punch had knocked his lights out with that one.
Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You goes first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you not worried about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
for
not
hangars,
worried about
and we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issue,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts.
While President Trump is quick on his feet and original with his comebacks, old Joe had a difficult time with his scripted lines, flubbing them up like this.
Get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools that cost a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
Get out of your bunker, says the man living in his basement, and get into the golf course? What? And apparently old Joe got...
Good stuff, man. Let's, again, I don't want to play his whole video, but this is really good.
mixed up that you're only supposed to look directly in the camera when you're addressing the American people. Otherwise, you look at the person who you're talking to and having a debate with. It was supposed to be a debate between President Trump and Joe Biden, but it turns out that Chris Wallace did most of the debating for Joe.
So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. That
But while old Joe was laughing along with the rest of us at President Trump's jokes, Chris Wallace was not.
it's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
He stood up.
No,
He stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
threatened Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
that
get rid of
is
the press.
absolutely
You know what, you're-
not
stop.
true.
You're on tape
You're-
doing it.
you're gonna
You're on
have-
tape.
True.
Gentlemen,
Is-
I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but
on
it seems
tape.
to be...
This kind of exchange is not unusual. If you look at American history, this is how debates are. It's two people fighting it out. We expect them to be more civil and more cordial, but there is so much on the line. This is the heavyweight championship of the world. Whoever wins this argument wins the presidency. If Trump crumbles and folds and falls on the floor and cries like a baby on national television, that's what everybody's going to see. If Joe Biden gets so flustered and dumbfounded that he can't sustain... So that's the other thing. A lot of people don't have the details in their mind. Right? They don't have details. They don't have the facts in their mind. And they look at it and they say, who's the stronger guy? Who's the guy that you want in there when with his finger near the button in case people are trying to blow us up? Who's going to fight back? Who's the tough guy? Who's the smart guy that's going to know how to handle a crisis? And when you watch this, you say it's got to be Trump because he's running these two idiots into the ground. I think that's how most people view it, and based on that, Trump wins.
Why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal.
Good point.
We have...
He didn't seem to be enjoying himself at all.
We got to watch a commercial. Okay, we'll watch it. The only shirt worth wearing.
There shouldn't even be a moderator. Just have the two candidates sit down in an empty room together for 2 hours and let us watch what happens. And when Chris Wallace wasn't debating,
All right, so that's a little spin from the Dice. Thank you, Dice, man. Let's listen to another guy I love. I love Tim Black. Let's listen to Tim Black.
Oh, they talked about the African Americans. I hate when they talk about us like we're this thing that lives under the stairs. All right, so here's the thing, guys. This was not a debate. If someone tells you that this was a debate you just watched, you already cut your cord. Just go ahead and cut them off. If they tell you this was a debate, and worse than that, if they have the audacity to tell you somebody won this shit, remove them from your life permanently. No one won. No one. You can't win a contest of throwing feces.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I disagree. There's always a winner. There's always a winner, and there's always a loser. Always.
At one another. You're both covered in it at the end of the day. Even if you don't get hit, it's all over your hands. Okay, so you can't win a.
He's calling it a shit fight. By fucking people throwing shit at each other. Feces. Here, take my feces. I love that word, feces. Feces
throwing contest. Because you have to pick up feces and throw it. By definition, there's no winners.
What happens if you're wearing gloves?
Anyone, and I do mean anyone. If my mama
and a mask, if you're going to throw shit at people, wear a mask and gloves. That's the one time you want to wear a mask is when you're throwing shit at people.
If my mama called me up and said, Biden won, I'd be like, Mom, that's it. We're not talking no more. That's it. Mom would be put on timeout for an indefinite period of time. Anyone who says that there was a winner in this is full of shit. This was...
All right. Thank you, Tim Black, man. Whoa, Tim Black says, nobody won this shit. Nobody won this shit. What about the blacks? Tim Black is not. He's not about that. Tim Black is a great voice for the black community because he's the first one to tell him what are you championing? Fucking how are you championing Biden? He hates fucking Biden. Tim Black hates Joe Biden. He was a Bernie Sanders guy and knows that Bernie Sanders got fucked. Man.
It's horrible. This was an embarrassment to all Americans. Expatriate Americans, people in South America, of all the Americas. This was an embarrassment to the human race. This was a catastrophe of epic proportions. This was lousy. This was despicable. There were people in previous debates who complained about the structure of the debates. They complained, oh, Bernie's talking too much, or this person's interrupting, or this person's being rude. Oh, my God. You know, it got 6 people on the stage. And people are... Listen. Tonight's, whatever this was, made those debates that seemed insufferable. This made them look like a perfectly well-oiled machine. This was the worst thing I've seen in a while. And I've seen some bad things. I've seen some horrible... This was a catastrophe. I want to share with you key points. There weren't many. Most of it was, your son's a crackhead, this guy... Now, there was one high point of this. There was a high point of this. It was when Joe Biden called Donald Trump a clown. Yeah, that's trending. That's how bad this was. Joe Biden called Donald Trump a clown, and it was trending, and people applauded it. See, my point is that we have devolved to a point where it's over. When
what's over?
The party of we need to go aim high and swing low and swing low chariot and all this shit, and then when it's down to it. Oh, Biden called him a clown. This is great. This is great.
Right.
No, it's not so great.
Good point.
Because it would have been the other way. You would have said it was the end of the world. You'd have said, that's it. Get out your passports because they all threaten to leave the country. So it's just hypocritical. It wasn't good. Now, there were parts that were funny if you're sadistic. Yeah, there were funny parts if you are a person who just wants to watch train wrecks. If you if you drive past car accidents and go, this is cool. Like if you have joy, if you spend your Sundays cruising to witness carnage on the expressway, if you watch NASCAR, don't know what's going on, but just looking for an accident, then this was your show. This is what tonight's show was.
So the assessment there, Tim Black has said that it's just a shit show. Oh, it's a shit show. Whoa, 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 whoa. Throwing feces at one another. Oops. Throwing feces at one another. No. Throwing feces at one another. It's become the norm. Hey, it's a shit show. Oh, shit show. Oh, wow, shit show. Write that shit down, man. It's a shit show. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need a tambourine. I only got 2 hands. All right, so thank you, Tim Black. Who else we got up here? Oh, H.A. Goodman. We were not going to leave you out. We couldn't leave you out, H.A., so let's listen to H.A. Goodman.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the best live stream debate recap in all of YouTube at this time. At this time on YouTube. Tim, my super chat, thank you very much. First and foremost, Eric, H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you very, very much for being amazing moderators. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an absolute destruction. President Trump obliterated the current challenger, and admitted H.A., she's not gonna, you said that she would be on the debate stage. It's like, I also said right after any
H.A. Goodman says Trump obliterated.
Like, oh, she'll be on the debate stage or she'll be the nominee. I said,
and that's right. H.A. Goodman has hair. You saw that shit. I fucking see it right here. Reporting live, Marcus Conte reporting that H.A. Goodman has hair.
They're so inept and incompetent enough that they put Tales from the Crypt, that they put an exhumed body in front of Trump. If they're so incompetent that they put, like, chum in the water for the great white orange shark that is President Trump, eventually she'll be on that ballot. So, come at me on November 3rd, and you could say, oh, well, Clinton wasn't a nominee, and then we can all celebrate together when President Trump goes 8 years. Because this performance tonight was an absolute tragedy, travesty. Biden lost by such an incredible margin. It's unbelievable.
At H.A. Goodman, you got to watch the T-shirt commercial. H.A. Goodman's got his channel loaded.
He opposes Medicare for all. Okay, so anyone on the left who
you watch H.A. Goodman every like 3 minutes. There's a commercial for 2 hours. You got to keep hitting the commercial fucking button. Hey, man, H.A. Goodman's like, I got hair now, man. This is a business. This is a fucking business, man.
For time. Who cares about debates? I want a party. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, hidden for time. It's a party on this channel right now. We've won 8 years. And this actually, in my mind, bolsters the belief that the prediction, the prophecy that Clinton is going to save the Democratic Party. They are done. They are absolutely done. Biden does not want Medicare for all. He does not want to pack the courts. He does not endorse a Green New Deal. Okay? What else does he not want? The left has completely gotten played as usual.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't want... Okay. No...
evidence. I don't think they got played. I don't think they got played. They know full well. If he's referring to like AOC and the squad getting played, yeah, of course they got played. but not really, because they're all sitting Congress people, and they all make $100,000, actually $1 million. A congressperson has like a budget of $1 million to hire people and shit. Those people got semi-played, but the vast majority of the people breaking windows out on the street and the revolution that's going on, there are signs of a revolution going on amongst the young people. They didn't buy it at all. I'd have to disagree with that. I disagree that they're buying it. They're just like, yeah, you're right. It is a shit show. We're not voting for any of these people. We want them all out. We want to take what they have, right?
Biden opposes defunding police. He opposes the Green New Deal. He opposes Medicare for all. So what did the left get from Biden? Nothing.
He didn't say the F word. That's how he stays monetized. I'll do that. What the?
They got stomped on and cheated as always. What did the left get? What did the progressives get by siding with the Democratic Party when Bernie Sanders was cheated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz? He also opposes, they talked about a Bernie manifesto, which was that agreement. He opposes that also. He doesn't sign on to that.
Right.
So it was a joint. He doesn't even support the joint. Biden and Sanders released their joint policy.
Man. So there you go. So H.A. Goodman, thank you very much. He's got a great wall, too. Let's see if we could pick who it is. We got Frank Zappa up here. We've got Marilyn Monroe. Twins, Hillary Clinton. There's Babe Ruth up in the corner. I don't know who the twin is. I think he's got the Oakland Raiders. The twin, I think, might be Barry Bonds or one of those guys. I'm not sure who that is. Or you got Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. He's got a lot of. I love the Frank Zappa. He's got right over his shoulder is George Orwell. George Orwell right over his shoulder. It's a great. He likes old cars. Got he's got a Charger. You look into you can judge people by the books they read, and also in the day and age of YouTube, you can judge them by the kind of clips that they put up, the people that they admire. I had 2 boxes. Oh, he's got Mike Tyson knocking this motherfucker out. I think that's maybe that's Larry Holmes or one of those guys who's knocking out. Bruce Lee. Yeah, thank you very much, H.A. Goodman. Thank you, H.A. Goodman. So let's look at a little more spinning and we're out of here. So Jake Tapper. What do you want me to? I'll leave it to the audience. What do you want me to play on our way out? Do you want me to play Hare Krishna mantra or the heavy extra music? I'll leave it up to you, because if I get my way, it's going to be the Hare Krishna music. So and we'll sing together. We'll have a Hare Krishna mantra. Spiritual center. That's how you survive this stuff. You don't let it. Don't let the mind fall out of balance with this. Oh, everything sucks and we're all going to die. No, we're not all going to die. We're all going to survive, and we're all, you try to levitate. You try to rise above the noise. That's how you do it. Trump has to do what he has to do to win. Biden has to do what he has to do to win. Everybody's trying to win. When you stop trying to win, then you approach a certain degree of honesty, a certain degree of clarity. When you stop trying to win, you stop trying to push. You just do your thing. Just be yourself and speak your mind. Right? So I think that's the formula for survival, for human balance. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, man. I go deep, man. I really do. I try to go deep. I try to explore my own mind and reveal my inner self to you, the listener, or whoever's out there. Is there anybody out there, or am I always just talking to myself? I haven't been watching the replays lately, or I didn't for a while, and I did yesterday. And I was watching myself, and I said, I'm pretty funny, man. I'm getting funny. I'm funny. I said to myself, man, I actually laughed. I was like, this guy's good, man. I like this guy. I like watching this guy. I think I'm going to watch this guy more often, right, on the replay, right? Because, why would you sit there watching yourself? And I used to do that a lot because I was curious if I was I was curious if I was doing anything that would make people want to watch, right? And now I don't really think about it anymore. I just do my thing. I do my thing. I look within. I read the chat. I read the comments. I try to see where people are at, right? And that's all I really got, right? I just do that. I'd stay in tune with the people. Fuck, because when you watch yourself, in the second person, you start to, you start to try to change yourself, whatever. But that's the insight I wanted to give you. But let's do a little more spinning and we're out. Jake Tapper, what are we gonna do? Play the heavy music or the Krishna? I forgot. I didn't read it. Nobody took my vote. Nobody voted. So it's gonna be Krishna. See how the guy with the microphone wins? Jake Tapper says, Proud Boys celebrating Trump's standby remark about them at the debate, New York Times report. So the essence of this is Jake Tapper, because Proud Boys standby was trending. So they're attacking Trump, try to paint them the racist, right? Refusing to look at the other side of the coin, because that's what they do. Because they have an interest in seeing Trump get out so that they could reinstall their puppet like they had Obama for 8 years. Right? They need another Obama. Andrea Mitchell, who's married to Alan Greenspan, the old fucking fossil, the 90-year-old fossil. She met him and married him. She's in her 70s. He's in his 90s. Alan Greenspan, the Fed chair under Reagan, who basically was the author of Reaganomics, trickle-down economics. Alan Greenspan believed all that shit. That's her husband. Fact check. There is no equivalent between Donald J. Trump refusing to denounce white supremacy, Proud Boys, and Joe Biden saying Antifa is not an organized group. That is what the FBI director, Chris Wray, testified this month. They all lie. They all lie. That is an ideology, not an organization. They're arguing over, she's arguing that Antifa is not an organization. It's not an organized hate group. They hate, they fucking openly hate white people, but they have a hidden agenda. To say that they're not organized is like, it's journalistic malpractice. The Proud Boys are celebrating after last night, says Jim Acosta. Max Boot. Trump telling Proud Boys to stand back and stand by is what this first debate will be remembered for, in your mind. And it shows why Biden won without having to do very much. So there you go, man. Everybody has a different opinion. Did it change the fake news? Fake news media? Did it change anything at all? Did it change the possibility of who's going to win this thing? In my humble opinion, not at all. I think Trump is the victor. Trump is the winner. Hare Krishna, Krishna. That's how we end. We end on meditation. Because in the Krishna, in the meditation, just listen for a while. You hear the whole world. Everything is there, right? No matter what's going on, what spins out of control. It just keeps going, indefinitely, changing. It's not a song per se. It's a formula for life. I'm trying to think of it. All the anger, right? All the anger, all the angst, all the hate, all the uncomfortability of having to deal with an election like this, or a fake election like this, with people that are, shouting each other down and interrupting each other, right? The release of that is to realize that is just the way things are. That's the way things are, right? And to get upset about it is nobody sees that. except you. When you're upset, when this political shit upsets you and disrupts you and hurts you and disrupts your life, nobody's feeling that but you, right? So why let it affect you? Why walk around being damaged like that? Because then you turn around and snap at somebody else, and you're part of the problem. But if you walk around smiling, chanting Hare Krishna all day long, right? There's nothing to worry about. Or anyway. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.